good afternoon, everybody. We'll be talking about the fallen angels found in Genesis chapter 6, of which there is much discussion, and the best thing to do is to step right into the text and just read it to you. It says, "And it came to pass when men began to multiply upon the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all that they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children unto them, and the same became mighty men that were of old, men of renown. And God saw the world was wicked, and that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was evil continually." And what many have said in that translation, and every translation that I know of, the expression is there were giants in the earth in those days that became mighty men of old. And the word there is really ha-nephilim. It's Nephilim. It means the fallen ones, technically, according to McClintock and Strong Encyclopedia, New Unger Encyclopedia, and the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia. And these were the angels, some of which had they had not participated in the rebellion against God yet, but they had come down and united with men. You'll notice that the only three kind of creatures that are mentioned are the sons of God, the daughters of men, and men themselves. Now we know what men are, meaning mankind. The daughters of men would be female, younger offspring of the family unit. And the sons of God we clearly see in Job chapter 1 and in elsewhere, that there were angels that came to visit God. It says, "Again there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord." Now, normal men and women can't come and present themselves before the Lord. The sons of God sang for joy when the foundations of the earth were made. Sons of God typically refer to angels. In this case, the sons of God had come to earth. They had cohabitated, or had at least sexual relationships with the daughters of men, and they bore what became known as the fallen ones, the Nephilim, those that were an unholy mix between angels and men. We see this further amplified in the New Testament book of 2 Peter, where in 2 Peter chapter 2 it says, "For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into the chains of darkness to be reserved in judgment." Now, if the devils that did not keep their own estate, but were cast down to hell and have been reserved unto judgment, they are there now because the day of judgment hasn't come. And we know that in the days of Christ there were many demons that roamed around. We know that Satan walks around the earth as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So these particular angels had done something sinful. They had sinned, and they were cast down to hell. That separated them from the armies of Satan that fought against Michael, as we see written in the book of the Revelation. They had committed a special crime, which we see in the book of Jude, which is only one chapter, by the way. So it's in verse 6. And it says, And the angels which kept not their first estate, meaning where they normally resided, which is in heaven, but left their own habitation, their own dwelling place, he hath reserved in everlasting chains unto darkness, unto the day of judgment. So once again, I would say that these fallen angels had cohabitated with women. Nowhere in Scripture. A lot of people try to say that the giants or the fallen ones are really offsprings of the descendants of Seth and of the descendants of man, but I have never known a reprobate and a saved human being to give offspring to a giant and a man of renown. If a man and a woman were to procreate and regenerate another human being, they simply have another human being. For good or for worse, that person would be strong or that person would not be. So there is no doubt that this was a super human creature of some sort, a semi-god if you like. And the reason most scriptures, most commentators deny that, and most Bible translators dance around it, is because in the post-Victorian days, post-Elizabethan days, the days of James, the first of England, all the way up to Queen Victoria at the turn of the 18th century, 18th into the 19th century, 19th into the 20th century, you had this very prudish attitude toward sexuality. And they did not want to get tied up in what they thought might be construed with Greek mythology. They already had the problem with Eve appearing to be some sort of Pandora, opening Pandora's box, and they certainly didn't want to have angels having sexual intercourse with human women. So they have discounted this. But that is in fact the case, and if you look it up in Scripture, that's what you find. Please, if you have any questions on this, after listening to the episode of Mashah, give us write us a note, give us a call, get in contact with us somehow. I know it's an important question in the minds of most, and I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on the matter. Thank you very much.